So this week we're talking about Walking Dead World Beyond Season 1, Episode 6. This episode is titled The Shadow Puppets. So in this episode we get introduced to a new character, Percy, who we actually kind of got a glimpse of in Episode 5. In my review of Episode 5 I literally said I imagine this guy is an older man in his 30s or 40s because I couldn't imagine someone young enough being out in this world by himself at the stage that we're in. But surprisingly enough, it's a guy in his 20s. He's got no supplies, he's got no weapon, he's literally just walking around with a stick, and the group welcomes him in pretty quickly. I was kind of taken back, but also wasn't really taken back, but I was more taken back by how quick, what's his name, Felix takes him in, because the rest of them, I'm assuming the kids, they're like, oh yeah, fuck it, anyone can join us. But Felix, I was a bit taken back by how quickly he let them join. Of course, we know that him and Elton don't really trust him, but again, I was just really taken back by how quickly they let him join the group. You see, Iris is kind of warming up to him. You can see Iris kind of likes him a bit because she gets very friendly with him very quickly. She wants to learn all this information about him as quickly as she can. It gets revealed then that he has a truck with all these supplies that has been stolen by some guys. And Iris gets pretty quickly saying, oh yeah, we should steal the truck back. And when she said that, I was like, Iris, what the fuck? Why do you want to steal the truck back? You want to go up and attack some people and steal something when you can't even kill walkers? And I thought it was quite stupid. All the kids are like, oh yeah, if we get the truck, we'll get there a lot quicker. But I was thinking, yeah, if you get the truck, you'll get there quicker. But you wouldn't be able to steal this truck. No one's gonna. It's not gonna be easy to steal this truck back. So I was a bit surprised why they all thought they'd be easily able to go and steal this truck and take over and be able to get there quicker. Because how the hell were they gonna be able to steal a truck? But they decide to go ahead and make their way to steal the truck. They come across the truck and there's a dead body in it. Of course, the two guys that had stolen it, one of them, they also had a little fight and then shot the other one, killing him. And then we get Percy and Felix make their way over they're kind of looking around seeing where they can find the other guy and then steal all of Percy's stuff back as well as the keys. They make their way through. Again, Iris goes, oh, I'm going to go help them, even though she's not really good enough to go help them. I said it many times, I don't like Iris, but I feel like in this episode alone, she's gotten way too cocky. For someone who isn't experienced in the apocalypse, isn't experienced in general with life, she's way too cocky. She believes that she can do anything, and I think that's going to be her downfall. Something is going to happen to someone because of her, because she's gotten way too cocky, way too quickly for her own good. Before I continue on what happens with Iris and Percy, Elton and Hope are spending a lot more time together because Hope knows that she's the one who killed Elton's mom. She's feeling so much grief, and she's very, very guilty. So she's spending more time with Elton. She's actually kind of talking to Elton a lot more about his mother. She asks if she can read the book. Elton kind of gives a big speech how he's gonna love the fact that someone is going to read her work, just really banging it in her head that, well, what she did was horrible. And I think it is horrible, but I don't really blame her for the scenario that she was in as well. She was a kid. I don't really blame Hope, but you can tell that she's just so guilty. And I imagine she's going to get to the stage, she's going to get so guilty where she's just going to tell Elton. At first I was thinking maybe she's going to tell Iris and then Iris is going to reveal it in a fight or something. But I'm actually thinking now that Hope is going to just say it to Elton herself. I think that's probably going to be the best way of it playing out. I imagine that is how it's going to happen. But we'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, I think that is how it's going to play out. I think Hope will tell Elton herself. But we see that we see Felix and we see Percy are making their way through this building trying to find this other guy who had killed the guy in the truck. They're looking around, they can't find him, and then Iris comes in. Iris is now walking around with Percy. They make their way upstairs. They hear someone in a shower, and then they take the keys. Then Percy sees all the stuff. He goes to get his stuff. Iris takes the keys and she's making her way down the stairs. You hear Percy shouting. You hear a gunshot. Iris decides to go up then and help Percy and see what has happened. As this is playing out, we see what's the big guy's name? Silas is sitting there guarding the bags. The guy who has been shot, we see rising up, and I was thinking, how the fuck is he rising up? He was shot in the head. It was fake blood. this whole thing has been a play. They were messing with them. They were going to steal their stuff. So you see, immediately, the guy, his name is Tony, he gets up, takes all their bags, throws them in the back of the truck, and drives off. And I was like, fuck. And as this is happening, you see that the truck drives by Elton and Hope. And Elton shouts, "Oh no, my mom's book." I get why you're saying that, but man, it's all your supplies. You're really just worrying about your book. But Hope runs after him for a bit. We see Iris goes up. She sees that nothing has actually happened to Percy. You see him jump out the window. Iris jumps out after him. Iris falls into a bin with 2 walkers coming in. A big panic, of course. I get it. It's a scary situation. Of course, it is the start, but I didn't feel the tension there when she fell in. But everyone immediately forgets about their stuff and goes to rescue Iris, which again does make sense. But I didn't feel the tension in that scenario though. But Percy and Tony drive off in the truck, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's how that plays out. But then, because Iris went back up to help Percy instead of going off, Percy feels guilt. He comes back with Tony to rescue them, and they all drive off together to go off and be safe. Pretty cool little. It's not an Easter egg or anything. It's just something I noticed. This is the first time I've watched something in the Walking Dead universe, and I've known an actor prior to watching it. So I know, as far as I know, I've never watched one of the Walking Dead TV shows and then seen someone go, "Oh yeah, I recognize them from whatever." But Tony is also Pete from 30 Rock, and that was pretty good. He's also the voice of Baymax in the Big Hero 6 movie. But Tony and Percy are their uncle and nephew. Tony was a street musician before everything that happened, so he kind of felt a bit out of place. Not only no problem with the street musician part, but the fact that he does a performance for our characters. He does a puppet show. He does a bit of street magic. All of it just felt really, really out of place. It did not feel like it. Not only did it just not feel like it blended with the world beyond, didn't really feel like it would blend with the whole Walking Dead universe itself. Just didn't really work for me in that way, and it was kind of surprising to see someone like that in the Walking Dead universe, especially being alive 10 years into the apocalypse. As I said, it's not the fact that he's a street magician that is my problem. The fact that he still does that kind of stuff is my problem. The fact that he still carries that stuff around 10 years into the apocalypse is still a bit odd. Like, if he lived in the community, maybe it'd be different, but the fact that he's on the road still doing stuff like that, I found that kind of surprising. But the truck they have, and the truck that they're driving around in, belongs to the CRM. They have a bit of tape blocking over the logo, which I thought was pretty cool. And it also makes sense how they had a working car 10 years into the apocalypse. The fact that they stole it from the CRM makes perfect sense. Also, they also steal all their fuel from the CRM. So they break in at some time, they break into some compact or some lot or whatever. They steal the fuel, and then they go off and do whatever they have to do. He makes a deal. Tony and Felix make a deal. The fact that if Tony and Percy drive them to wherever they want to go, the fact that he has that logo will make it easier for them to steal diesel or petrol, whatever it is. I don't know if that is going to make much of a deal, because let's be honest, Felix is not really high up in the whole grand scheme of the CRM. Felix is kind of like just a blip on their radar. He's not really a major player, so I don't know the fact that just because he's wearing that, is it going to make it easier on him. But I imagine the fact that now they have a car, they probably will make it to New York by the end of the season. Hopefully, anyways. I hope that's the cliffhanger, that we find out what has actually happened with their dad. As far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, he is still alive. We do get that kind of bit at the end with the kind of after credit scene of seeing the doctor from episode 4, the one eating that massive sandwich. We see her going over a book that was written by their father. A drawing of the girls was inside. So hopefully, I imagine he's still alive. I'd be surprised if he wasn't still alive, but who knows if he is still alive. When this episode was finished up, I was quite surprised. I'm even more surprised now to say this is the best episode of the season. And it's the best episode by the season by a lot. I found this episode to be so intriguing, I wouldn't say intense, but I was so intrigued to see what's going to happen next. I was actually enjoying this episode. The previous episodes I put it on like, oh fuck, was this almost over? But this episode, I really enjoyed it. The 2 new characters, Tony and Percy, I'm really excited to see what happens next to them, because I actually like them. I enjoy their characters. They're likable characters, and I enjoy their characters. With the rest of the group, don't really care for them. As I said before, they could die, they could live, I don't care. Same with Tony and Percy, I don't care if they live or die. I like their characters, and they bring a bit more of a spin to this group, the fact that they haven't been living inside walls since the start of the apocalypse, and the fact Percy as well, the fact that he's just a couple of years older than the rest of our group, the fact that he's been outside the walls, I think is going to add a bit more of a spin to this group. I have a feeling that Iris has a bit of a crush on him, so I kind of want to see how that plays out as well. I'm actually excited for episode 7. I don't think I've ever actually said that about the world beyond. I'm excited to see what happens next. But as of right now, episode 6 is the best episode of the season. And that isn't even that, like, that's not even such a great milestone to say, because the episodes haven't been great. So their only way for them to go is up. And hopefully they can go up from here. I hope episode 7 is better than episode 6. I haven't seen it yet. It came out last night. I haven't watched it yet. I'm quite a while back with the world beyond. But hopefully episode 7 is better, if not just as good as episode 6, because that's all I want. If they were all this kind of level of stuff that they're not, like, this is just kind of like an average Walking Dead week episode, I would be fine with that if they were like that, but they're not. But if episode 7 is like this, I will be happy with that. But if you want to hear my thoughts on episode 7, which would be hopefully, I'm hoping it'd be before next week. I hope it's not going to be a week gap in between episode 7 review. But if it is, click that subscribe button so you'll get notified when my review episode 7 drops. And then tomorrow, my episode of Fear the Walking Dead season 6, episode 6 drops tomorrow. I'm going to go watch that now. I'm very excited for that. Unlike World Beyond, I've been loving Fear the Walking Dead season 6. So if you want to hear my thoughts on episode 6 of that season, make sure to click that subscribe button because I'll be dropping again tomorrow. And as always, thanks for watching.